Hey folks, PC here to show you how to conduct synchronous online classes using the live classroom feature of the Digital Academy. The Digital Academy offers several tools to conduct distance learning. The class portal, which allows you to post text, documents, and links to your students. The online lesson section, which allows you to put together asynchronous lessons that are made up of videos, embedded content, online assessments and discussions, and monitor student progress. And the live classroom, which allows you to conduct live interactive classes with your students using the computer's video and audio. You can present slideshows, handouts, and whiteboards. You can also play games with the word cloud. This presentation will focus on the live classroom. To use the live classroom, log into the Digital Academy by going to auth.digitalacademy.org and entering your username and password. If you have previously mapped your Google account, you can click Login with Google. Refer to the lesson on using the online classroom for more details on mapping Google accounts. Once you log in, you'll see your dashboard. Click the graduation cap to get a list of classes. On your class list, click the Classroom button to see the online classroom. For information on configuring that, watch the previous video. When you go to your classroom, you'll see a page that looks like the following. On the left, you have a number of features. The lesson called Using Online Classroom gives instructions on how to set up your classroom and how to configure the modules. To access the live classroom, click the Live Classroom button on the left. If you do not see a live classroom button, you'll need to click Edit Classroom Pages and turn that on as an option. Once you're in the live classroom, you should see a screen that looks a little bit like the following. Before you get started, click the Home button to review the live classroom options. You'll see a screen that looks like the one on the left. Allow video broadcasting determines whether video is turned on or off. If it's off, only the teacher can present video. If it's on, all students and the teacher can present video. Allow students to join groups will determine whether they can decide to work together. If it's on, students can click each other's names and start a group where they will share the same screen. The teacher does not approve this in advance, but it can cancel the groups if necessary. Allow students to present their own work. We'll put a Present button on the student screen that they can click to present their work to the class. By default, this is off. There's additional settings under the class controls. Allow class chat turns the chat on or off. By default, it's on. When it is on, you'll see a message that says students can post too. If that option is off, students can post only to the teacher. If it's on, students will be able to post to the whole class. Allow hands questions determines whether students can raise their Digital Academy hands. And the detailed student list shows the student's school under his or her name. This is useful for district-wide presentations, but by default, it's off. When you want to shut down the classroom, you need to do two things. First, you can click Close All Tabs, which will close all tabs, including any open student work. You'll want to notify your students that they should save their work before you do that. Kick Everyone Out removes all users, including yourself. Only click that after you have closed all tabs. If you leave tabs open in the live classroom, students will be able to go back in at a later time and work on them. If you leave a video board open, students will be able to go in and turn their video on and off and have a video conference. This may not be desirable functionality, so it's recommended that you close all tabs before exiting the online classroom. To launch a new activity, click the green plus button in the upper right corner of the live classroom. You'll see a screen that looks like this. On the left, you have your lesson plan, which you can also access by clicking the lesson plan icon in the top, the one with the red arrow that points to it. On the right, you have the New Activity screen, which allows you to launch new activities. To launch a new activity, click one of the buttons listed below. A whiteboard will launch a blank whiteboard. A video room will launch a screen to see the video cameras of all students. And a word cloud will launch the word cloud activity. We'll focus on the video room. When you click the video room button, you'll see a blank video room like the one shown below. To turn your camera on, click the picture of a camera. You'll see a pop-up that asks you to select your video and select your microphone. Pick the appropriate device and then click Broadcast. If you don't want to broadcast your video or broadcast your audio, you can click Disable Video or Disable Audio. Note that if you're using a headset, you should make sure that it is plugged in before you click the video icon in the Digital Academy, or it may not work properly. Also, when you plug it in, you may get prompted as to whether you want to run it in headset mode or headphone mode. You'll want to run it in headset mode if that's an option. If you select headphone, it will disable the microphone. And even though you select a microphone on this screen, the microphone won't be able to be turned on by the live classroom. If you have problems, turn off your camera by clicking the camera icon, unplug your headset. Then plug your headset back in, select the proper options, and then turn on the video, and usually that fixes the problem. Once your video is on, you'll see a picture of yourself on the video board. You can present the video board to all students by clicking the Present button. If you present it, all students will be able to see each other and hear each other. If you do not present it, only you, as a teacher, will be able to see and hear all of the students. You can turn all of the microphones on or all of the microphones off by clicking the buttons at the top of the screen. You can also turn an individual microphone on or off by clicking the microphone button under the picture of the person that you want to change. You can click the play icon under the picture of the person to present that person to the class. If you are not sharing your video board, but you want the class to be able to talk to one of the students, you can click Present, and the class will be able to see only that student. You will then be able to unpresent that student when he or she is done speaking. You can click the View Work button to open a new tab that lets you see the screen that the user is currently on and also work with him or her on it. There are some additional control options under the student list. You can access the student list by clicking the picture of the people in the upper left, the one that has the arrow to it. On the top row, you can disable hands by clicking the green button. You can also turn all microphones off by clicking the microphone on the top row. You can turn an individual student's microphone on or off and their video on or off by clicking the icon next to their name. Additionally, when you click a student's name, you will see a number of options. One is to kick that student out of the classroom. You will also be able to click a button to view the student's work or to work together. To launch a saved document, click your lesson plan icon, which comes up automatically when you click the New Activity button, and then click Launch next to the document that you want to present. If you do not have a document, you can click Add Materials and then browse to the material on your computer. Note that when you add a file to the online classroom, it needs to be converted for use in the online classroom. This process can take several minutes. It's recommended that you put together your materials the night before by either going to the lesson plan section of your online classroom and adding it, or by simply adding materials to your lesson plan in the lesson plan module of the Digital Academy. Once you launch a document, you'll see a new tab with the document in a screen similar to the one shown below. There's a number of options along the top row. Presented indicates that this document has been presented and all students can see your copy of the document. To unpresent it, simply click the text Presented again and it will stop being presented. In the upper left, it'll say Presenting to Students or Tab is not live in red if it's not being presented. Students cannot edit this document. To change that, click the text that says Students cannot edit and it will say Students can edit, and they'll be able to edit the document. Note that every student in the class will be able to use the whiteboard tools to mark up the document. You might want to be careful with that one. Students are able to switch tabs if you have multiple tabs open. To lock them onto this tab, click the text that says Students can switch tabs, and it will turn red and say Students cannot switch tabs. At that point, they are locked onto the tab that you are currently on. When the document is presented, everybody sees your copy. To give every student their own copy, something that you might want to do with a worksheet, click handout. Every student will then have their own copy. You'll be able to watch their activity by clicking the Classroom Activities screen, which will show you all of their screens and will show you the changes as they make them. You can move through multiple pages in a multi-page document by using the plus and minus, and you can click the Save button to save your copy of the whiteboard. You'll be given an option to save it to your My Documents or to add it to a post on one of your classroom pages. Under Actions, you can create an assignment and attach everybody's whiteboard as an in-process submission. There's a separate video that shows how to use digital handouts in the live classroom. You'll notice a number of whiteboard tools on the left. The plus and minus lets you zoom in and out. The arrow is a selection tool which lets you select items which you can then move or delete. The pen allows you to do free-form drawing. The line, circle, and square lets you create shapes in those areas. And the AA lets you put text on the document. You can change the color of the text or of the shape you are drawing by clicking the stroke, the color panel under the stroke, and then picking a different color. To launch a document that's on your computer, click the green plus and then select one of the options from the Launch an Existing Document section. Click My Computer to browse to the document and launch it. Click Scan a Document to use your cell phone's camera to scan a document and upload it to the Digital Academy. And click Graphic Organizer to launch a pre-saved graphic organizer. Additionally, you can click the picture of a file cabinet to drag a document from your file cabinet into the Digital Academy and launch it. There is a separate video on how to use the camera's phone as a scanner, which is a feature as part of the Digital Academy app. To use the chat, click the chat icon, which looks like a message bubble. There are a number of options at the top. You can clear all entries by pressing the clear button. You can disable the chat by pressing the disable button. You will then be able to re-enable it from that place as well. When you type a message, you'll have an option of who you want to send it to. You can post it to the entire class or just certain students. And then you can type your message and press enter to use it. Remember, additional chat options are available on the home screen, such as an option to determine whether students can post to each other or just to you. This covers the basic features of the live classroom. If you have any questions, feel free to email support@digitalacademy.org. Happy online teaching!